I experience racism every day. I'm not hyper aware by any sense, but I do experience it, and it's painful. And you keep wondering why it always keeps happening.
I recognize how tiring it is for people of color to be having to make the same arguments that should have been clear for centuries.
The city obviously has a horrible history of blatant and implicit discrimination. I mean, we have redlining, we had the destruction of neighborhoods.
We certainly are a society where there have been historical injustices, and we need to recognize that that has posed an obstacle towards minorities.
It'll take courage for city government to really put themselves in the footsteps of struggling families, and that courage to acknowledge that is a reality that exists every day in our city, and that we need to do something about it. That's what racial equity is.
So we're coming to City Council with 3 overall citywide racial equity goals. And along with those are several strategies to be able to implement and achieve these goals. So what it really does is provides a guidepost for city employees, city leadership to follow to achieve these racial equity goals.
Well, I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for further partnering in accountability. You know, it is really the job of the community to hold us accountable, among other things. So I think that when we have stated goals that we've adopted and we say, here's where we're going, and here's how we're going to get there, which is why I think it's also important that the strategies are included.
So I believe the first step is to recognize, to understand, and to be willing to support the places where the least amount of resourcing and opportunity has been granted. I do believe you raise all the ships when you raise those that are on the bottom. I think the second piece is to acknowledge the racial history and the disparities that have occurred.
And racial equity means understanding both that diversity today and the institutional racism and historical wrongs that underlie that diversity, even now, even this week, this month, this year, even here in Portland.
It takes honest, persistent, and courageous conversations and action. It takes the long-term view, because we're not going to solve this problem overnight. We're not going to solve hundreds of years of history overnight. But ultimately, it means people of goodwill, of loving heart, of clear purpose coming together to tackle the most persistent problem in America and saying that we will not be satisfied until we make progress.
Well, we really want to institutionalize the concept of equity in the use of an equity lens, in the use of equity tools. And so having the city bless these and institutionalize these goals does just that. It allows them to exist no matter who's sitting in any particular seat.
They're not giving us a favor. We've earned this. We've earned this seat at the table. So we need to understand that. Coming in and respecting each other for what we've done.
We all need to play our part, and it's going to be uncomfortable for everybody. And we need to be with that uncomfortableness and recognize that that's part of the penalty we pay for a system that is unjust.
I believe we could do it. I believe that the city council needs to set a standard that is higher than the one that we've historically experienced. And I might be an outlier by saying that, but that's a familiar position for social justice people.
We need an Office of Equity more than ever, and I'm extremely proud that this city has taken the lead in establishing an Office of Equity, and I'm proud of the work that that office is doing, embedding equity into everything we do as a community.
That's what we really are going for here, is an investment in the promise and potential of everyone in our community.
Equity is becoming part of that DNA of who we are as a city and how we operate. And that's, of course, where we want to be. We want equity not to be a veneer or an afterthought. We want it to be who we are and how we roll.
These goals may be specifically couched in terms of racial equity, but achieving these goals will help everyone and provide greater benefits for everyone as they receive the services of the city.
Because racial equity has an impact to everybody. When one community thrives, everybody else thrives.